Morning, people. I've just woke up to the news that once again, Conor McGregor has decided to retire from MMA. Make of that what you will. And let's not forget, he's done this twice before, people. He has previous. He retired in 2016, just before, I think, the Nate Diaz fight, and he retired in 2019. I don't know, I think it was just before the Khabib fight, or maybe after. My timelines are a bit off, but he has previous. So do you believe it this time round? I don't know. It's a bit like the story of the boy that called Wolf. It's difficult to know, isn't it? I'll quickly read his tweet or his statement. He says, "Hey guys, I've decided to retire from fighting. Thank you all for the amazing memories. What a ride it's been. Here is a picture of myself and my mother in Las Vegas post one of my world title wins. Pick the home of your dreams, Mags. I love you. Whatever you desire, it's yours. Heart emoji." I love that. I mean, that's, for me anyway, that's every kid's dream, right? To buy your mum a house, just to make sure your mum is sorted. That's the dream. For me anyway. I don't know about anyone else. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Like, you know my phrase. Get in, get rich, get out. And most of you would have watched Conor McGregor's backstory or know his backstory. I mean, there's that fantastic video where he's opening, I think it's, is it like a bailiff letter, or they're chasing him down? And I think that was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, him and his girlfriend or his fiance are living in his family house. They're living on like the top floor, the attic area. I mean, look at the fucking journey. So look, he's made as much money as he's possibly going to make from fighting. I mean, he can make a bit more, right? But I mean, he must have made around 200 million, around that figure. He's a champ, right? I mean, those victories over Jose Aldo and Alvarez. I mean, look, there are more fights he can have where he's going to make a ton of money. He'll make a ton of money in a Khabib rematch. He'll make a ton, and I mean a ton of money fighting Jorge Masvidal. Like, he could make anywhere between 60 and 100 million, honestly, for those two fights. So there's money out there, but those are risky fights. I think Conor's in a situation where he wants to fight, right? He said at the start of this year that he wants to have 3 fights this year. The first fight was Cowboy Cerrone, had that fight, comfortable victory. He wanted to have 2 more fights. And I think he would have had 2 more fights if not for COVID-19. He still wants to fight though. You see him, he's releasing clips. I think even yesterday on Instagram, he released a clip of him hitting a punching bag machine. He wants to fight, but he can't fight behind closed doors. He can't. The gate receipt money is way too big. So he will have his number in his head that he knows he's worth, right? He'll say, give me that number. They can't give him that number right now. And they also can't give him the fight he wants. He wants to fight Khabib. Can't get it. He wants to fight Justin Gaethje. He won't get that either because they're going to match up Khabib and Justin Gaethje. So Conor's looking at a situation where he's probably going to have to sit out the rest of 2020. And he's probably thinking, fuck that. I don't want to sit out the rest of 2020. Might have to. So this could just be a case of he's at home, he's annoyed, he's frustrated, he's fed up, and he releases a statement like this. He's not the only one. Henry Cejudo. Again, I don't know if you guys know your MMA too much, but Henry Cejudo, another champ, Olympic gold medalist as well. He retired. He had his fight 4 weeks ago and said, you know what, I'm retiring. His was a bit different. I think he's retiring because he's not getting the paychecks he thinks he deserves. He thinks he's the greatest fighter out there right now. He thinks he's the greatest fighter of all time. Some people say he is, by the way, because of the Olympic gold medalist and then becoming a 2-weight world champion. But he's retired because of financial reasons. Conor's is different. Conor's, I'm going to call it retirement right now, is because of frustration. It's because of frustration. The reason I'm inclined to believe it a little bit is because he includes his mum in the tweet, right? He speaks about his mum. He puts a picture up there as well. I mean, I would love it to be true, by the way. I would love it. Not that I don't want to see Conor McGregor fight again. But I mean, I want to see these fighters get in, get rich, and get out, but get out with all your faculties in place. Not get out when you're starting to slur your words, or the brain damage has been too much, or you're coming off a series of losses. Just get out when you're relatively young, still on top. Conor's still on top. You know, Conor's still a top 4, top 5 fighter at 155 pounds. And you've made a ton of money. You've made it. What else? What else? You've ticked all your boxes. So I'd like to see him. I really would like to see him retire for real. But again, we've seen this before. We saw it in 2016. It made more of an impact in 2016 when he done it. It was like, whoa. And he at the time was the biggest star. I mean, he still is the biggest star, but he was ascending at such a rate. And when he did it then, it was like, oh, this is serious. When he did it in 2019, it was like, oh, we've seen it before. Now, even when I look at some of the comments underneath his tweet, I mean, 99% of them are like, whatever. I mean, they asked Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was on ESPN straight after yesterday's UFC 250 card. And they asked Joe Rogan, and he was like, don't believe it, right? It's not true. He's just trying to grab attention, and you guys are giving him attention by talking about it. So that's it. People just don't believe it. Dana White, again, in the post-fight press conference was asked about it, and he didn't even seem worried just because there's been previous. Again, I just think people right now are angry and frustrated. John Jones last week says, you know what? If you're not going to pay me the money you think I deserve for fighting Francis Ngannou, release me. Release me, take the belt, release me. Jorge Masvidal said, you know what, if you're not going to pay me the money, release me. People are just fed up and frustrated. So I think it's a bit of that. I know this isn't boxing related news, but it is Conor McGregor. And he did have a fight against Floyd Mayweather. So technically, he is a boxer. I've not had a look and seen if there is any boxing news. Let's have a quick scan and see if there's anything else we can talk about before we wrap up. Okay, yeah, this one. Anthony Joshua suffers a left knee injury. Marches for Black Lives Matter in Watford. I don't know if you guys saw this. Anthony Joshua was at a Black Lives Matter rally in Watford. But I guess a big talking point was that he was in a knee brace and he was on crutches, which was a surprise. I think a lot of people have said, I think they've obviously had to release a statement about it. And I think the statement is that it was just a precautionary measure, that he felt a bit of a twinge in his knee when he was out jogging or skipping or something. And obviously it's just a precaution, and that won't affect a possible fight against Kubrat Pulev, which is earmarked for November, December. So it's just a precaution. I can't lie, it did shock me because I follow AJ a lot, follow him on his social media, and I didn't know there was any injury. So I think that was a bit of a shock, but again, it won't affect, we're hoping, his fight against Kubrat Pulev. Who knows though, right? Who knows? Oh, here we go again. Fury Wilder trilogy. Sydney's Bankwest Stadium in the running. You know, I would like the fight to be outside of America, right? I would. I don't like for boxing to become this global sport. It kind of is global, but you know what I mean? It's still just massive in Europe and massive in America. That's it. In terms of where all the big events take place. Although we've seen we've seen events in other countries such as AJ Ruiz, but 99% of all the fights happen in Europe and America. It would be nice for them to go elsewhere with some of these big fights. I don't know about Sydney. I'm not quite sure. How big's this Sydney Bankwest Stadium? 2 secs. Never heard of this Sydney Bankwest Stadium, by the way. 30,000. It's good enough. It's good enough, right? Yeah, why not? Why not? I guess, I don't know. Who's going to put up the money for that? I'm not quite sure. Bob Arum's come out in the last couple of days and spoke about a few places sort of wanting this fight. So maybe it doesn't happen in America. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I wonder, regardless of COVID-19 and the coronavirus, I wonder if there's the appetite for it in America. I mean, how many people want to see it again in America? I don't know. I don't know. But you take that anywhere else in the world, right? People will still be very, very interested. Very interested. Like you take Fury Wilder over here. I mean, that's doing a stadium. It's doing a stadium over here easily. So yeah, we'll see. What's this? Anything else, guys, before we wrap up? I didn't really want to talk about any boxing related news, to be honest. DEREVYANCHENKO fight with CHARLO will happen in due time. It's not a fight that's been spoken about. I've not even really, I would like it, but to me, I don't think it will happen just because of obviously PBC and DAZN. Good fight though, right? Good fight. Tough fight for CHARLO. Telling you now, that DEREVYANCHENKO guy and we've seen it now. We've seen it with Danny Jacobs and we've seen it with Golovkin, right? This guy's tough. And in both of those fights, I'm sure he was down in the Jacobs fight as well. So that doesn't deter him. That seems to even piss him off even more. So you've got to have an engine. I don't think you can dent him. So you've just got to be able to box and have an engine and move. So it could be an easier fight for the likes of Andrade and Charlo just because these guys are movers. And I think both of these guys are comfortable going 12 rounds. I mean, if you're a guy that relies on your power and you're hoping that that's going to stop him, well, it clearly isn't, because Jacobs and fucking GGG probably hit the hardest of any guys at 160, harder than Canelo, and they didn't dent him. So it could be an interesting fight for Charlo or Andrade. What's this? Shakur Stevenson. Me and Gary Russell Jr. would be a hell of a fight. Yeah, that would be a good one. I'd like to see that. I don't know, man. It's talk in it right now. All it is talk. I don't know if you guys saw the Shakur Stevenson Andre Ward interview on Sky Sports Boxing. Shakur Stevenson spoke about the Josh Warrington fight. He felt like he wasn't getting the money he deserved. So it's not like Josh Warrington didn't want the fight. There was obviously back and forth between those two, but I think he said that in the end, the offer that Frank sent over just wasn't enough financially. Yeah, don't know. I'd like to know what that was. Like, what's Shakur Stevenson worth? Like, I'm guessing Frank would have chucked that fight at the time. Obviously, Josh is now with Matchroom, but at the time, he would have chucked it on pay-per-view. You're looking at that gate receipt money as well. They would have got 30,000 at Ellen Road. How many pay-per-view buys is Shakur Stevenson versus Josh Warrington doing? Not a lot. It's not a lot, right? So it's difficult. What are you going to pay Shakur Stevenson? $1 million? Really? Is he going to get paid that much? Is it that kind of... I mean, I think it's a big fight, but is it a fight that sells? It will sell tickets. We know that. Josh Warrington sells tickets. But I'm talking pay-per-view. Don't know. All right, anything else? Anything else very quickly? I don't think so. Anything else I missed yesterday? Yeah, it's a short one, guys. It was more about Conor McGregor than anything else. Okay, what's this one? Very quickly. Estrada's trainer aims for Chocolatito, does not rule out a Inoue fight. Fucking hell. Imagine that fight. Just that group of fighters. Chuck and Rigondo. They're all close in weight. Chuck and Rigondo. So you got Inoue, Rigondo, who still can be dangerous. Chocolatito and Estrada. Can they not do a World Boxing Super Series? Well, they have really. Inoue was in one. But, you know, with Estrada and Chocolatito. So just get them all, you know, look, let's be honest, guys. Between sort of 118, 122, you know, I mean, you can go even just a tad bit lower, a tad bit higher. I mean, these guys are all like a Burger King away from each other. They are. So get them all together. But I do want to see Estrada versus Chocolatito. Chocolatito is such a beautiful fighter. The way in which he set things up. What's his name? Lee Wiley, I think it is. I think it is Lee Wiley on YouTube. Let me have a quick look. Is it Lee Wiley? I think it is. But he does amazing breakdowns. Yeah, it's Lee Wiley. He does amazing breakdowns of fighters, and he's got an amazing one about the way Chocolatito sets up his punches. Go and check that out. It's fantastic. If you want to know more about boxing in terms of sort of watching people's foot movement, their head movement, and how boxers, so it's all deliberate, by the way. It's not an accident when you see them throw a punch in it. It's all deliberate in the way in which they set their shots up. Go and check out Lee Wiley. If you want to know about boxing like that, don't watch me. I do not know anything about that kind of stuff, but check out Lee Wiley. He's fantastic at it. All right, people. Peace.